Professor Wolff, welcome back to the program. I'm curious, there's all this talk about Donald Trump, you know, the election's getting rigged, and Donald Trump or somebody like him, a neo-fascist Republican, you know, a Tom Cotton, a Josh Hawley, a Ron DeSantis becoming president in 2024, and effectively ending the American experiment of democracy, or what's left of it, and replacing it with kind of neo-fascist strongman economics that would make America look more like Hungary or Russia or perhaps the Philippines. What would that mean? What does that look like from an economist's point of view? How different are the economics of modern day fascism or authoritarianism from the economics of what we might call democracy? And what will it mean for the average person?
Well, I think, you know, it's unfortunately a question whose time has come, and you're right to ask it. There's two ways to look at this: the potential of what might happen, and then a little bit of a look at what has happened over recent years when Bolsonaro in Brazil, or the Philippines, or Turkey, or Modi in India, or even Boris Johnson in England, what those have amounted to in terms of economic policy. And I think the remarkable thing is not much. In other words, these are people who are specialists in political theater. They cash in on the mass of people who are justifiably angry at what has been going on for the last 30 or 40 years, and above all, the massive transfer of wealth from the middle and the bottom to the folks at the top. That is the number one issue. They say and do absolutely nothing to stop it, let alone to reverse it. What they do specialize in is what I think we call in this country culture wars, or in other places cash in on immigrant scapegoating or religious controversies or secondary issues in people's mind that become primary because you're not allowed in these societies to talk about the basic issue. So I think the answer is mostly it's marginal. If a Trump type got elected here, there's no reason to believe that he would do or she would do anything different from what Trump did. Lots of theater, lots of noise, lots of posturing. But in the end, the economic development of the country went on. The inequality got worse. The instability got worse. And my guess is these are not people who ever figured out what the problems in economics are. They've never shown the slightest courage in confronting the problem of a system that doesn't work. So they will make adjustments here and there. When I thought to myself how to answer your question, the only area I thought might come out is that Mr. Trump and people like him enjoy being naughty around ecological questions. So they would, encourage coal or encourage fossil fuels or make light of ecological problems and give maybe those industries a bit of a boost. But in the larger picture of our society, other than that one ecological question, my guess is much more drama, much more noise, but the underlying economic problems we have will continue to get worse. That is what happened in Brazil or India. And in the end, by the way, these folks end up usually, like Trump did here and like Boris Johnson is doing literally as we speak in England, they self-destruct in the theatric because underlying change hasn't happened, and that's in the end what got them in.
When I was writing the hidden history of American oligarchy, I did a deep dive into Viktor Orban, the guy who's running Hungary right now. He has, over the last 10 years, flipped Hungary from being a NATO member, a member of the European Union, a full-blown functioning democracy, into a kind of Russia-like autocracy. And one of the first things he did when he took power was to use the power of the state to essentially drive small businesses, to harass small businesses, long extended tax audits, personal attacks, basically forcing small businesses to sell out to Orban's cronies. He had a kind of a kitchen cabinet like Reagan had of big business guys around him. They are all now fabulously rich. They started out just being, you know, Hungary's modestly rich, and now and so most all of the small business now in Hungary that has any value at all has been sucked up with the connivance of the state by these oligarchs. It has shifted the, you know, by shifting the economic power or the political power, they've shifted the economic power, and now it's become a self-reinforcing loop where these people are openly, you know, your telephone company supports Orban and will listen in on your calls. Your media is now all owned by Orban allies. Stores and department stores and are not only owned by Orban allies, but have big pictures of him in the stores like they used to do with Stalin, this kind of thing. Would you expect that sort of thing to happen here if somebody like Trump got the White House again and had really serious control over things like this?
Under one set of circumstances, that could happen here, and it's the same set that produced this in Hungary. If you have a guy like that come in, if you have someone come in who comes in by the skin of his teeth, by hook or by crook, who is very worried that the political base he has is not strong enough to sustain him, then the only way he can be secure is to provide something to at least a portion of the society that's already powerful, that is so attractive to them that they will in turn give him the political support he wants. And what Orban did is he found that. He found that in the cronies, you call them, quite rightly. He found that in big business that was emerging after the Hungarians were no longer part of the Eastern European bloc there. He said to them, I can help you become a dominant monopolizing force here. We can do it at the expense of the small businesses, but you have to fund me. I will provide the big political theater, and in Hungary's case, it was anti-immigration that did it. I'll get the mass of people at least for a while. That'll be enough time for me to make you super rich, and you fund me. Could that happen here? Yes. If someone got in who knew clearly that the mass of the American people had little patience, even if he got voted in or she got voted in, and they had to make a big effort to build a political base, yeah, they would offer to do for the oil companies or for high tech or whatever sectors they found friendly exactly what was done for Orban. They would extinguish others, fund those who in turn fund them, and you get the kind of what is called in many parts of the world crony capitalism as the result. Not that we don't already have it here, but it would be a much sharper form of that, and the ins would become very wealthy, and the outs would face a kind of slow death so long as that kind of thing stayed in power.
Makes perfect sense. Professor Richard Wolff, thank you so much for dropping by, Professor. It's always great talking with you.